Hi guys, welcome. And again, I'll give you sort of a brief overview of what we do, or what the challenges are in the supply chain at the moment, then what we do, what our grad program is about, and then some sort of examples of grads that have moved or progressed throughout the business, and then just some tips and tricks, I guess, for us navigating through the world once you've finished university. Firstly, past 2 years, pandemic has created a lot of challenges for our industry. So, global lockdowns, propelling e-commerce growth. So that's caused a lot of delays in, I guess, getting your things to straight to your door. A lot of container disruptions in ports and congestions across the globe, and a labour and skill shortage. Um, Purely from the cause of the increase in demand for goods and services. So what is this all creating? Increase in inflation and in costs and delays, but it's also creating a lot more opportunities within our industry, a lot more focus on continuous improvement planning, so adopting new technologies, new processes, new finding more efficiencies within the supply chain, but also more an understanding and appreciation of, I guess, what we do in our industry, which has always been a very, very big challenge. So Mainfreight, who are we? We're a New Zealand company. We're a global third-party logistics provider. We have over 10,000 team members globally. We have a very big focus on cybersecurity, because we want to make sure that it actually does affect not only us, but everyone else in our industry and what else is connected in between. And our training investment for the past financial year, because we're on a New Zealand financial year, which goes from April to March, it was just under just over 10.5 mil. We're a growing business. We've grown rapidly even before COVID. We're now a $3.5 billion business, and we're a provider. So we service our customers' whole supply chain, or we tailor it to their needs. We like to say our people are our greatest asset. So I guess that gives you an idea of why we value our team. So these stats are from our previous year as well, so apologies, but we operate in 297 branches across 26 countries. Just because purely we've been here the longest in terms of the business, compared to America, Europe, and the UK, and in Asia. In Europe, in Europe in America, we're growing. In Asia, we're still in our infancy, so we're still quite small, but we're growing as well. So what's transport? Air and ocean primarily deals with international freight forwarding, so global freight forwarding. So imports and exports, customs clearance, perishable goods, trade lanes, and so forth. Warehousing, very much managed logistics, so pick and pack, hazardous goods, warehouses, and so we primarily deal with fast-moving consumer goods in our business. Transport, so domestic freight forwarding. This can be nationwide, so providing line hauls from city to cities. Dangerous goods transport, full truckload and intermodal. With our metro deliveries, that's predominantly for the metropolitan areas. Australia. and wharf cartage as well. So moving containers or scheduling and managing containers to and from the ports, as well as container devanning services and loading services as well. In terms of our supply chain, we offer global visibility. So if you use all three of our services, you can track and trace where that piece of freight is moving. We do very project-based work as well, and a lot of EDI solutions. Cool. So our culture, like I mentioned before, is something that we're very, very big on. So we've got these things called the 3 pillars, which is culture, family, and philosophy, and we use these 3 pillars to work towards our 100-year vision. So the whole idea is that we don't want to be here for the short term. We want to be here. So yeah, like I said, we have these 3 pillars, and we want to be here for the long term. So the decisions that we make are based on the long term rather than the short term. So our grad program is 2 years. Like I said before, it's very unstructured and it's very operational. So we want you to learn from the ground up. We want you to understand our processes, our systems, our people, and our culture. And then once you have a firm understanding of what we do in the operations, you can then slowly take on more responsibility or move around other parts of business and learn more. Skills are going to be crucial. So building relationships within the team, communication skills, as well as customer service skills. Those are the things that we like to see because those are what are relevant when you do work for us. I always say, seek knowledge, master it, and then share it, because if you don't share that knowledge, you won't be able to move on to other roles within the business. It very much is as much as you will get out. No day is the same, like I mentioned before. We have roles where it could be a 38 to 45 hour per week. So air and ocean is predominantly desk-based, whereas warehousing transport is very operational and is 45 hours per week. We provide you with your forklift training license patients, or continuous improvement projects, as well as mentoring and training and internal learning sessions as well as externally if they are there. I always say it's a rewarding career for the right candidate who has the right fit, the right attitude, and has a thirst to learn within our business. We have a few traditions where we give out a bucket of apples and Christmas hams. I'll sort of let you guys those sort of traditions we have. So how do you apply? So through our careers webpage, which you can find here, Grad Australia, Grad Connection, University Careers Hub pages. Grad Australia has a lot more. So yeah, we have a rolling intake, so our applications never close. So there's no deadline, so take your time when you're applying for us. Do the research. The only eligibility is within the last 2 years, and you must be an Australian citizen or permanent resident. So some grads that we have. So Clement, he's now a branch manager in one of our regional sites in Bendigo. Before he started on the Melbourne and then moved into the transport operations because he had more desire to learn in that space. He then moved into a CS role within the transport division, and then got into sales within that transport division, and then decided after about 2 years to take on the role of a branch manager. Katie started within the business in 2014. She was in the call a customer champion, which is an operational account manager during her time in Brisbane. She then moved to Melbourne to become the grad coordinator, which was the role that I'm in, and she actually hired me. And then after about 2 years within the training team and in that role, she then moved to Los Angeles in America and worked with the training and development team there. And then after about a few years, she moved to be America's warehousing branch manager. So there's definitely opportunities to move overseas. Like I said before, if you've got the right fit, you're the right attitude, and you've got a thirst to learn, then it's definitely possible. So life after university, this is what's worked for me. So I'm not saying that this is the be all and end all. I'm not exactly a licensed or anything. So some tips and techniques when applying for us. Like I said before, right fit, right attitude, the right individual will give you a crack and see how you go. We look at EQ over IQ because a lot of our roles are customer service based. So it's important that you've got those relationship building skills, communication skills, and customer service skills. Teamwork, team-based environment. So it's important that you have that attribute as well. And we like to let the individual decide when you're doing the job. So we want people that aren't afraid to make decisions or that are self-driven and aren't afraid to take risks. And guess what? If you make a mistake, you make a mistake, but you make sure you learn from that mistake and you don't let that happen again and just keep on improving. It's also important to look at the bigger picture as well, in whatever role you're doing within our industry. I always say, look, make sure your cover letter applies to you and how it applies to the role, the job, and the culture of the business. And this is for any company for that matter. Do your research. Who, what, when, where, why, and how are those questions you need to ask yourself when you're applying for roles. Personalize your application to suit the company, the job, and the culture. Don't waste your time. Don't waste a recruiter's time. If you're really wanting to work for a certain business, make sure you put in that effort and time into that application. For international students, I wanted to make sure this was also relevant for you, but it's very challenging for yourselves already. So, and I've spoken to a lot of international students since being in this role. And so what I would say is, I know this is easier said than done, but get your permanent residency as soon as possible. And again, visa sponsorship, it is, I guess, easier said than done again, but if you can get that, then it is important because 90% of employers in Australia aren't hiring international students. If we're in your home country, you can certainly apply there if there are positions available. But there is a job boom in Australia at the moment. So leverage that. If you can find a business that's willing to take you on and sponsor you, they're a pretty good company and they're looking for people as well right now. Now, in terms of, I guess, like navigating through the big world after university, this is some stuff that's worked for me. So, yeah, normally not. Don't do nothing. Self-care, give yourself time to explore and try new things. Your personal life is just as important as your professional life. I like mastering a craft with your hands. It sounds a bit cathartic and archaic, but it does provide a lot of, I guess, meditation for me. It's important that you understand other perspectives, find a community, be social, find a group of friends that's not just your, finding a support network, not at home, but also with your friends. I also say, start dating. It's a great way to get life experience. And my 3 big questions are those ones if you're ever stumped on what you're wanting to do. That's it for the presentation. And I haven't got about 5 minutes, but let's look at some of these questions. Stop sharing. Apologies, guys. No open questions or the chat, maybe. Let's have a look. Is it only for citizens and permanent residents only? Unfortunately, Lewis, yeah, we're citizens, but if we're in your home country, you can certainly apply there. So yeah, like I said, best way to work in Australia is getting your permanent residency in Australia. Okay. Just trying to think of anything that I can share. Enjoy your time at uni, I guess. You may be doing postgrad after, which is also good, but enjoy the time that you have at university to really explore and meet different people. Because once you work full time, you don't get that. You don't get those uni breaks. You don't get that time to explore things and see things. Really, I guess, live in the city that you're in. I'm in Melbourne, and I really take it for granted of how special Melbourne is. I took a year off when I started working full time. So after I did the grad program, I took a year off and went to Japan because I got a state scholarship from the government here. And probably the worst time to take 2020 off, but it was a great time to go over and spend time with extended family and really learn about, I guess, my background and heritage. So you can certainly take time off once you've worked for a period of time. I think that's very, very important. But because I had very good relationships with the business when I left, they welcomed me back with open arms. So it's important that you keep those positive relationships in any workplace, for that matter. Don't know if that's good advice, Shaq. I don't know. What do you reckon?
Yes, just don't work and travel. I think that's the way forward.
Yeah. We don't have working from home where you have to be on site to work for us because we move freight. So majority of our roles are pretty much working from home. Anything else? Yeah, anything else, Shaq?
What's worked for you so far? I mean, you've of course you've come through the program and now you're running the program, so that's a pretty good achievement. What's kind of led up to all that?
I guess what's led up to it, just I don't know, past experiences, being open to things, just taking that leap of faith and seeing how it goes. For me, I guess within the business was just meeting everyone. We have a very non-hierarchical culture, so I've had lunch with a lot of our general managers pre-COVID, and we're now having lunches together now. So getting in touch with them, getting their perspectives on what they do, because it can get, I guess, a bit tunnel vision when you're in a warehouse or you're in a transport depot doing your role. So it's sort of good to get a more, I guess, macro perspective from the managers as well, and then sort of applying that to what you're doing, and then sort of sharing that within the team as well, and then they get a understanding as well. So everyone sort of sees the bigger picture and sees what role they're playing. I don't know. I guess I'm a pretty positive person in some respects, and a bit extroverted. So maybe that's what's helped me. We've certainly got team members that are introverted, but have certainly done well in the business. I think you just got to be true to yourself. Go with your gut and see what happens. I guess that's what's helped with me.
Awesome, man. Thanks so much for sharing as well, Josh. Really appreciate it.